Here, 1464. Good luck. So we've not played before. No head-to-head score. 2,000 games for opponent. Very good. We're just approaching 800 or so. We probably won't be playing very much more rapid though. It's not good these days. Okay, goes for the Smithmore, I guess. Let's take the first one. I probably won't take the second. No, I won't take the second one. Okay. I think this is still a move. Down, block, down, and knight up, I think is the idea. We're just going to put the bishop on the diagonal. So let's play knight up. Knight forward. Is he looking at some sort of silly sacrifice? Let's play knight up then to cover the check. I mean, he's got this one, but that's what he's going for. I think I'm fine to castle though. I mean, I can play pawn up first, but castle, knight takes. There's no follow-up material, but he might have to try and swing across this way somehow. But right now, I think I just take, then pawn up. Takes, I think I just take back and I can blockade. Okay, so he's played across, allowing the knight to get rid of the bishop. And that's got to be a good concept. Is there any trick? I'm not sure, but let's go over there anyway to try and get rid of that bishop. It's whether we've got any tempo move to hit the queen. So he goes here. I don't think we have. I think we just simply take. But there is potentially queen up, I'm seeing, threatening to take and hit the knight. But you can just move your bishop out the way, can't you? So let's just take and get rid of it. Queen up now, you just simply develop or you drop back. But it is a chance for your opponent to blunder, but I'm going to assume he'll see it. So I'm just going to try and make room to develop my bishop somewhere. It's a chance for your opponent to make a blunder if you do this and you just castle quickly, of course. Okay, so he's headed off that move anyway now. So what's the idea there? I'm not sure. I'm gonna push the pawn forward and kick that knight immediately, just so you're not dealing with this. So actually, I'm going to sack a pawn. If he takes here, I can develop the bishop and stop castling, at least for now. So I'm just going to sack the pawn and prepare to push. Otherwise, the bishop's got a couple of potential nice squares. Oh, he has taken. Okay. So let's get the bishop up then, just to stop that immediate castling. Now I need to get my queen onto a good square. Maybe we kick this knight as well. It is a pawn sack though. It could backfire, of course. What we could do is trying to target this pawn. So maybe h6 knight moves take, unless his queen guards it. Which it hasn't. So h6 though may encourage a move like h4. I'll just click my little heater on. Takes, then takes. It would be very, very bold, wouldn't it? But he might do it. So I'm just looking at more natural development move. Oh, my heater just went back off there. Click that on. Get the rook onto a nice square. Or I could just develop my queen. I'm not sure here what I want to do. Bishop in here is actually a move as well, just to hit the pawn. See if we encourage f3. h6 is what I want to play. But I think he'll play h4. Let's do it then. Let's just see if he does it. Again, I don't mind if he sacks here. There'll be a way to unwind the position if he does somehow, eventually. He has gone back. Okay, so now we can collect this pawn back then. So let's take the pawn. And he's still got to figure out how to get castled. And we can hopefully just start gaining a little bit of space now. Maybe rook across, but it just puts the queen on a good square right now. So the queen comes forward, so there is no bishop back, so we need to just move our knight. So let's just drop back and hit the queen. The pawn is protected. And we're just going to try and edge forward gradually. Now here, that would be nice, but it's obviously not a move right now. So let's line it up and play queen across and line up the potential to take and break this pawn structure up. It might mean my opponent can eventually castle, but we'll try and just take and break the structure up. And then at some point, try and get these pawns further down the board. Knights come forward. Okay, now there is a threat there, so I think we need to take. Bishop back, you can just take with a check. Rook across could be a move. You can take the knight with a check as well, so I think we just take there. But now if I play bishop back, you've got queen back somewhere and you guard your knight. So why is he thinking there? Yeah, he's not okay now. Let's just try and gain a little bit of space here. He's still got to figure out how he's going to castle. We might even have queen up as well to create a mate threat depending on where the queen lands up. We can activate the rook and just start marching down the board, but not easy. Well, that might give us another tempo to push the pawn on again. You might just want to go across and hit the pawn. I'm going to do this actually. If he comes across, I think we'll just try and create a checkmate threat. If knight comes over, we would just simply take it. Knight back would be uncomfortable, obviously, but he can come across and create the double attack. Pawn up might run into g4, could be risky. So I'm just looking at queen up to create the mate threat. Or maybe even just chuck the pawns up the board and try and clear the path. So he's gone there instead. So we've still got the chance to go here and create a mate threat, but now he can move his knight and guard. So where to? He can move his knight though and guard with the queen element. I think we need to be a bit more aggressive here. So I'm going to push the pawn. I'm going to push the pawn and try and kick that knight. Maybe even here. I'm trying to still fit this move in at the right moment. If I say right now, the knight can move somewhere other and the queen still protects. Not an easy position, not easy to find a path, and it's just trying to get that king castled. He may need to go queenside. Got to put the king somewhere. Yeah, so he's gone across now, aiming for that pawn. But that now gives us this chance to go forward again. Your knight would have to go right back to square one to guard the mate threat. And then we can always just shift a pawn or something. It does invite trouble, but it's got to be the right move, I think, to go forward. Just create the simple checkmate threat. There's no knight forward, we just take. The knight might have to go back. And it's really an awkward position to play. But there is a mate in one threat on the board now. Of course, if bishop takes here, we could just take here instead of taking back the bishop. It's a very awkward position for white. Okay, so he's pushed the pawn forward, so we can check. Bishop up, we take. Knight goes back. We can take. We could just take. It's actually a really good move, actually, isn't it? If we take, he castles. We can still push the pawn on and create a mate threat, and we hit this pawn. So that should still be good. Take, castles up. Queen check, knight blocks. It's still awkward, but actually, is that better? Queen check. No, because if I end up pushing the pawn, he's got queen takes. Let's just take and look to push. So if he castles, we push, but we actually create a mate threat because the rook's not guarded. If you move your bishop somewhere, we can take here and hit the rook. But if this collapses, though, the knight's getting in. So it's not without risk. A lot of risk. And he has done that. But it's got to be right to push the pawn, create a mate in one threat again, and hit the pawn here. He could take, though. He's got bishop takes. Take here, and the knight is getting in. That's what he's gone for. So I think we have to take here first. And now if he takes, we can just take back. Knight in, at least we've got a square. Or we've got rook behind. What's happened to my cursor there? I might have to do something like this. I might have to try something like that. But we're threatening to just take, and there's still a mate threat. I mean, you can move the rook out of the way, but still a threat. But this could easily collapse for me. If he takes here, he creates a mate threat, so I can't ignore it. I'll have to take back. It's whether he can make the three pieces work. Okay, so he has moved across. So if I take, queen takes, pawn up, that's got to be no good for me. I think I need to chuck this pawn. I need to chuck the pawn and kick the knight in. It's actually, have I blundered here? I might have blundered actually. I need him to take, so I take back, and then queen check, I can step up. But I need some sort of move like queen across. So he's gone there. Oh, can't I just take the knight now? And if you take the rook, I take and I'm fine. That might be a mistake. I think I can take and take. He's got to get these pieces working together. That might be the final mistake that loses the game. It might be. So he's taken, but I think I'm fine just to drop back now and trade things off. Or maybe rook across. No, my bishop's loose right now, isn't it? So just back. Yeah, now I should be fine. I'm just a clean bishop up, aren't I? 4 pawns each, queen and 2 rooks each. So we just have to be sensible. But I think I can push the pawn here and then blockade with a rook. There's no check here right now, though. So he's taken. That's just checkmate. Yeah, he had to leave the rook back there to guard the mate threat. He's unfortunate. He just forgot about it. But let's see what it was in engine language. It's not an opening I play very often, so I'm more likely to have gone wrong here. So let's just see what it was. So 32 moves. They're the move times for both players. But I don't play the Sicilian very often. Never have done. Just a little bit of variety. So we'll just see how good or bad it actually was. That's not too bad. It's 90% versus 84% accuracy. CPR 35 and 64. My average is a little better than that in Rapid, but it's near enough. So let's just see how it actually went here. I chose not to take there. Taking is the engine's preferred move, but I didn't want to go into that gambit, so I chose not to take. Now, does he have a sacrifice here? The engine's not flagging anything, is it? But he's saying bishop to e2 is better than bishop to d3. But the knight takes. I think I'm okay to take back and blockade. Now here, I should have actually gone d5 instead of d6, so a little bit more aggressive in the center there. Okay. d5 and then queen e2 is the right move, instead of taking, for instance. So this is fine. It was a mistake taking the pawn. Should have just castled straight away, then suddenly got into all this difficulty, excuse me, through not being castled. Again, it's not flagged up here, taking on f7 again. Oh, here, I've missed the fact that we've got knight takes pawn. Takes, check, and win the rook. Oh, I've just missed a real killer move there, haven't I? +5. I'm still actually okay. I'm still comfortably better. And you can see we're better with all the rest of the game. There's a little bit of a blip, but yeah, knight takes c3. If you're playing sharply, you see moves like that. Then in this position... Oh, I should actually... I've missed that as well. Just take the rook. Take the rook. Rook takes is forced. Take that one as well, and you're threatening to queen the next move, and you're in before this checkmate threat. I should be seeing things like that. Maybe you've got queen across, but the engine's saying that's the right move. Let's see the line. Bishop takes. You have to take there first then to create the checkmate threat, so we'll have to take back to deal with that. Queen e4 to stop the pawn. Just move your rook behind. The queen can grab a pawn. Then the knight goes back to stop the threat. You drop your bishop back. h4. And that's the end of the line. Presumably you just take the pawn. It might end up being a queen versus 2 rooks, but that was the engine line. But then in this position, it then becomes easy because a lot of the risk has then been removed and the opponent just forgot that they had to guard at the end. But again, considering the very big rating gap, that's a really good effort by my opponent there, so very well done.